guys, I'm Polly, also known as Pollygone Illustration, and welcome to my channel. So today I've got a bunch of products I need to sublimate, so I thought I'd show you guys how I sublimate and make a whole tutorial video about it. I'm going to cover all the supplies you'll need, your equipment, how to print, how to actually sublimate, and all the other bits in between in this video. So to start off with, here are the supplies that you are going to need. 1, your heat press, and also a mug press if you want to press on mugs. 2, a printer which is suitable for sublimation printing. I recommend going for an Epson Eco Tank. I have tried other solutions before, like you can get cartridges to put in printers. However, I find that doesn't really work and I never really got along with it very well. So I really recommend going for an Epson Eco Tank because they're so much easier to use, so easy to turn into sublimation printers, and they're the most convenient and probably the cheapest option in the long run because you get through less ink than you would with a normal printer with the cartridges. 3, you're going to need sublimation ink and sublimation paper. Over the years I get so many questions on whether you need sublimation ink or paper, or if you can do it without both. I know sublimation printing is really expensive to set up, however you do need everything on this list for it to actually work, or you'll just be wasting the money you've already spent. 4, you will need some kind of device and software to design your products. I use my iMac and iPad to do it. On my iPad I often use Procreate, and then I use Photoshop on my iMac. You'll also need a computer of some sort to be able to print your designs off. 5, I use heat resistant tape a lot. It's really good for keeping your designs still, especially for mugs and t-shirts. 6, then you're going to need your sublimation blanks. So this is basically going to be anything you want to print your designs on, whether that's mugs, t-shirts, bags, totes, mirrors. There's so many different products out there that you can sublimate on. When you're trying to find them, make sure they are sublimation blanks. There are only certain materials that work well for sublimating, which is normally polyester and polymer, and there are a few other materials that will work as well. But you need to make sure that the objects you want to print on are suitable for sublimation, otherwise it won't work. When you're trying to find your products, type in sublimation blanks and you'll be able to find them. So where can you get your supplies from? So you can get them all over really. There's so many different places you can look, and obviously it will vary depending on where you live, but I find that Amazon and eBay have definitely been the best. Plus there are loads of independent businesses out there too which will have the supplies that you need. I have a link down below in the description where you can find a heat press like mine, the inks I use, and the papers. So for sublimation blanks, they can be a little trickier to find, but with a lot of research you can really find some high quality products out there. You've just got to look for it and find what works best for you. So how do I design my products? So I usually either take an illustration I've already drawn in the past or create a new one to make my products. Most of my digital pieces are drawn on my iPad in Procreate, though there are a few which have been drawn in other apps such as Photoshop, but I mostly stick to Procreate. It's really cheap, it's only £10, and it's a one-off payment, so I'd really recommend that if you have an iPad and a pencil and you want to get started with digital illustrations. And then obviously you can also draw your artwork traditionally and just scan it into your computer and maybe edit it a bit and it'll be ready to sublimate. So now you're ready to print your designs out onto your sublimation paper. As I mentioned before, you do need a specialized sublimation printer. You can use normal printers and convert them for sublimation, which I do by putting in sublimation inks into my Epson Eco Tank. It can vary depending on your printer, so you might have to do a little bit of research to find what you want to use for your printer and how you could convert it. But one thing you need to know is that you need to have a brand new printer that has never had any other normal inks in it, otherwise it will ruin your sublimation prints. So you will need 2 printers, one for your normal printing and then one for your sublimation printing. So then when you get to printing your design, you want to make sure you flip it because otherwise you'll end up with the design printed on backwards. And then we need to go and change the printer settings for the paper you're going to be printing on. So this is going to be a little bit different for everybody depending on the size of the paper you are using. So I usually print on 2 different types of sublimation paper. I've got my A4 paper, which I use for most products except phone cases and mugs, and I have this slightly smaller and thinner paper that I print on for them. So now that you've got your design printed out, your blanks and everything set up, you want to get your heat press ready. You want to turn it on and make sure to set it to the correct time and temperature that you want for that particular product you will be printing on. So the temperature and time will vary for every single product you're printing on. The website where you bought your blanks from will tell you what your settings should be. When I'm printing my mugs, I always use heat resistant tape to keep the design on the mug so it doesn't fall off and move. When I'm using my heat press, I always make sure that there is baking paper underneath the product and then on top. This is just to protect everything from getting any leftover ink residue that could get on and potentially ruin any future products. So once the timer has finished, you can lift the handle of your machine and release your product and you've got your finished design. So there you go, you've got a whole bunch of new finished sublimated products. Sublimation printing is actually fairly easy and I really prefer it to any other kind of printing just because it's a lot easier and it's not about your technique, it's about the equipment really. Though it is quite expensive and some mistakes can be made quite easily, and as sublimation printing is permanent, unfortunately you do end up with some products that are ruined or mostly unusable, but a lot of people I know do sell them as seconds, but I usually just keep a whole bunch of my designs that have gone wrong and then do experiments with any future designs on them. If you're thinking of doing sublimation but you're not sure yet, I really recommend it as a small business because I can really keep my costs down low. I know the initial cost for starting sublimation is quite a lot, but you know, I have like 10 different mug designs that I can print as I want and as I get the orders through. If I was to order them from a website, I would probably be paying about £100 for 20 mugs or so. It's really up to you how many mugs or how many t-shirts you print. You could do one design once and then never do it again, which you couldn't do with most other manufacturers. I think I spent about £500 to set up my sublimation printing, but that included the heat press, the mug press. I also got a hat press as well and a plate press, which I've never really used before. They're just not for me personally, but it just came as a bundle. But I also got the inks, the printers, the paper, and then my first lot of sublimation blanks, which I think included t-shirts and a few other bits and pieces. Thank you so much for watching this video and I hope you did find it helpful. If you do have any questions on anything about sublimation, please leave them down below in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Please hit the thumbs up button if this video did help you out and if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be the first to be notified for when I next upload. If you want to grab any of the products that I made in this video, you can at the link down below in the description. I've got a whole online shop with about 300 products now. I've got so many things, so it'd mean a lot if you could go and check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and I'll see you next time. Bye!